Hello YouTube, I'm the StarChild and welcome to Tentai Kensoku. Today I am reacting to some of the stuff that came out of Gamescom for Sonic Racing Crossworlds, specifically the victory animations and the rival interactions. I wanted to talk about like the characterizations, the interactions, the writing, and just some stuff that I thought was interesting lore drops. So, let's just get into it, because I know there's one or two things that I want to talk about, and I don't know how long I'm going to talk about them, but we'll just start. These are the victory animations. Oh my god, that's the first thing. So, first of all, Sonic has been breakdancing since, like, they gave him any kind of victory animation, like, even in Sonic Battle, he does a lot of breakdancing and like capoeira dance moves. So I love the fact that that's still a thing that has stuck with him since the 90s. Speaking of the 90s, that line, up, over, and gone, when I heard that for the first time, I cannot explain to you how happy that made me. If you don't know what that's from, that is one of his many catchphrases from the 90s cartoons, specifically Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. His other one that he said the most was, "I'm waiting." Like, I was geeked when I heard that for the first time. Like, I cannot describe to you how happy that made me. That's how you do a reference. That is how you do a reference. If you told me that 90s Sonic cartoons in any capacity was going to be referenced, like if you told me Jaleel White Sonic was going to be referenced ever in the games, I would have not believed you. That just made me so happy. I just love how everyone has their own little dance. I think it's cute. It's like a nice touch. Look at Tails. Also, there's people talking because it's from a convention, but yeah. Okay. That type of shit that lets me know that Ian wrote this. For some reason he speaks in song lyrics. Or he has people speak in song lyrics, or he'll quote a song. Which, I'll be honest, I have done that before, but not randomly where it doesn't make sense. This is just corny. I don't know if it's in here, but I did see Amy's where she literally just says the lines from Follow Me, and it doesn't make sense. It's just really dumb. I don't know. I personally think that's stupid. He could have said something else, like something more interesting than that. I don't know. I feel like that's also a song lyric, but I don't think that it's word for word. Cream, I'm so glad Cream's back. Cream used to be one of the main characters, by the way. Let me pause, just I don't know how long it's gonna. Okay. So, up until all the characters got sidelined for just Sonic, the main cast was Sonic, Eggman, Tails, Knuckles, Shadow Rouge, and Cream. That's why they're the characters that are in like Sonic X and Sonic Battle, and they were focused on the most, with the Chaotix kind of being like reoccurring side characters. Yeah, like the fact that they're moving towards that more, going back to that core group that they always focused on in the early 2000s is really sick. I hope Cream stays because people want her back so much. Shadow. Okay, I have something to say. I just don't like that line delivery. It's so harsh. I feel like he should have said something like, "Now you understand that I am peak perfection," or something. I don't know. Kirk's not my favorite Shadow voice actor, but he was growing on me in Shadow Generations, but he just kind of, that was a little too grating, I think is what it is. Also, I feel like Shadow should have just referenced Ultimate. He's always saying that I'm the ultimate, like, I don't know. Jet, of course. Aren't they aliens? Am I remembering that wrong? Are they like related to aliens? Her and Jet are just dicks. Storm's kind of... They're all assholes. That's their whole team dynamic. Look at it. Look. Ah, he should have said, and now you know that I am the best. That's a good reference. Look at Omega. Oh man. Oh, something about him. So, at this point, people have data mined the game somehow already. I think it's because the beta's out. And, I noticed that Omega's voice modulation thing, or like the filter, fluctuates. Sometimes it's higher pitched, almost like it was in Sonic 06. And sometimes it's deeper, like it was in Sonic Heroes. I don't know if that's on purpose, but it sounds very weird. Yeah, like all his lines are leaked already, so I listened to it when I was at work earlier, but it's just weird. I noticed that. We're back. So these are all of the rival interactions from Gamescom. Now, I know that there are a lot more out. There's a video I saw that was an hour long, and I wasn't gonna watch that one. That is, I think, every single one for the beta characters. However, I did notice, I didn't watch it, but I scrubbed through. It's not everybody that was showcased at Gamescom, so there's probably stuff in here that's not in that video. So I'm still gonna watch this one. Something I like is that everybody really respects Tails, even though he's a kid. Oh, this... I gotta talk about this. Okay. So, I saw a screenshot of this like flame thing, but it was Rouge and Knuckles. So I went on YouTube looking for that one, and I found this. And everybody's losing their mind over this. I was cracking up. I literally was like, "Excuse me?" At work. It was a Sunday, so we were technically closed, and it was just me and one other person. But like I literally said that shit out loud. This side of Sonic was very prevalent back in the day, and I think it is still kind of there in Japan, but not. It's more subtle. He has been known to flirt. I was just saying, like, this is not out of left fields. And also, he knows what he's saying. Like, the innuendo is there on purpose. I really like the writing for that. Like, he's the type of guy that will match your energy. And I love that they added that part of his character in here for all these like cheeky dialogue deals, because it's very in character for him, and it's something that I haven't really seen in the American side. So I'm glad that they put that in there, because I want to know what he says to her in Japanese, because if this joke is in every language, that would be so much funnier. Oh. I don't have a problem with this. Except, like... I don't know if Shadow particularly thinks that he's superior to everyone. I also, like, Shadow and Knuckles have literally stood next to each other in multiple games and never spoke. Oops. I think I skipped that. Who is keeping the Deadly Six in business? Because I don't know anybody that likes them. Why is it always Zaz? Is that a reference to her characterization? Something, I don't know, maybe I'll talk about it in a different video, but I don't think Ian knows how to write Amy. Jesus, okay. I wonder if he references like being manipulating Knuckles. I like Knuckles' writing though. He's back to being normal instead of an idiot. That's always a plus. Their dynamic is never... It's not hard to mess that up because they just tease each other for real. Or Sonic teases Knuckles and Knuckles gets mad about it. Amy and Shadow, like, I feel... I don't know. Are they... They're not really... I don't know if they're friends or not. Shadow's so aggressively, like, encouraging in a lot of these. I had Sonic Riders, I think just the first one, but like, were the Babylon Rogues always just dicks? Oh, Eggman. I thought about something for this one. I know he's talking to Amy. See, I like that. She needs to have that bite to her. And that's the thing with Amy, is like, a lot of people couldn't look past her whole crush on Sonic. But she always kind of had... The rose had thorns, you know? I feel like Ian tries to write her to... He wants... I heard... Blah, 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 Jesus. I used to listen to Bubblecast on occasion. But he's not allowed to talk about Sonic anymore on there. So the thing about this is like, I feel like he's trying to gaslight gatekeep girl boss Amy. And that's not really the type of character she is. That's not what she was supposed to be. But she was very headstrong and kind. I don't really... I mean, I'm not going to go into a whole spiel about it here. Maybe I'll make a video about Amy's characterization one day. There are plenty of them out there. But I feel like him writing her... Him trying to quote-unquote tone her down has just kind of made her into the mom friend. So when she has clapbacks like this... This reminds me of Sonic Adventure 2 Amy, who's just like... busting into not Angel Island, Prison Island to look for Sonic. How'd she get there, by the way? They never answered that. But yeah. Also, Eggman being misogynistic is more in character than you might think, because I remember reading somewhere that in the Sonic Heroes manual it says something about he's a feminist in English, but that was mistranslated. It was basically supposed to say something about he partakes in women, which means he's like the opposite of a feminist. He's more of a philanderer. So him being like, It's so funny to me, too, that he's crapping on her for supposedly not learning how to drive because I guess women can't drive, or maybe he's just shitting on her because she's a girl, or she's like the girl who's supposed to be the normal one. I don't know. Amy in Sonic R was the only one who had a car in the game. So... What does that mean, Ivo? Like, look at him with his fucking mustache. Tails is like, Tails has those like really subtle insults that you like think about later and you're like, oh shit, he was talking smack. Guess you can't practice on your island, huh? It's like, yeah, she's gonna send cheese after you. Broken dismantle robots, dog. I don't think you know. I think this is for Omega, right? Yeah. I like how they all just accepted Omega, even though he's a badnik. They just see him with Shadow and Rouge and they're like, alright. Okay, I started over because there was an ad. This line sounds like Ponic and Graf wrote it to me. It's fine though, like, I don't care if anyone shits on his ass. This is so funny too, because Jet's so confident, but then he's like, "Ayo, Storm, I need you to lose for me, dog." Are you afraid that you'll lose them for real? Like, I'm convinced that like Sonic and Shadow just look the same in the face. And we can't tell because we're not like in universe. Shadow and Omega. I like the way that they all talk to each other. I really want to hear what Omega says to Rouge. Shadow, I don't know, the way he writes Shadow is very Vegeta to me and I don't like it. And Cream is always nice to everyone. Everyone's nice to Cream. Maybe they're afraid of Vanilla. Vanilla has like this inside joke about her like being dangerous. Probably because they're all kids and she's the only mom. They're just like inherently afraid of her. Yeah, I really like the lighting in this game. Especially at night. They just look better at night to me. Oh, this is one of the old ones. Like one of the first ones that came out. Yeah, this is a lot different. Sonic used to, in Sonic Advance 2 and some of the other games, he was very much like, oh no, Cream, it's too dangerous. You need to go home. But now he's just very encouraging. I think that's cool. Who's the real fastest hedgehog? Let's settle this today. You fake prick. Oh my god. Wait. I saw one of those where people were like cracking up because it was a translation of that Japanese version of that scene, and people were cracking up because it was very, I don't know if anyone was around like back in the day in like the early mid 2000s, like early 2010s even, where anime would come out like months before it got dubbed in English, and then you had fan dubs. There was one where there was a translation of that where Sonic's like, he calls him a fake ass bastard or something, and I was just like, is that the real line? There's no way he said that. And then it's very like anime fan dub where, or fan sub, where the line would be, I don't know, I'm gonna pick Naruto, Sasuke, how could you leave the village? This is your home, or whatever. And then the fan sub would be like, Sasuke, you fucking bastard, how could you fucking leave this fucking town? Like stuff like that. Like it would just be really a lot of cuss words for no fucking reason, and that's what it reminded me of. But I think prick is probably for the best because insults in Japan, like they have certain ways that you would say you. For instance, like anata is you but in an affectionate way, and then Kisama is you but in like a derogatory way. So I feel like that's what he said, or something to that effect. Heck yeah, I like these. The Japanese ones are sick. I like what, I don't know, maybe I'll talk about that. If that Sonic and Shadow one that people hated is in here, then I'll talk about it. I don't know. I miss Amy being like very affectionate towards Sonic. Oh shit, this is the one. Ugh, okay. Let's look at them while I talk. So I'm gonna put a timestamp because I don't know how long this is gonna take me to talk about I have a lot to say about that line. A lot of people hated that line. They're complaining about the characterization. This one came out months ago. So, first of all, I think I said earlier, I don't like the way that I don't hate Ian Flynn, I want to preface this. And also, I know that this game the dialogues are very competitive and they're all basically just talking shit. But I don't read the IDW comics either, but when people complain about Shadow's characterization or Amy's characterization, I noticed something. I'm gonna talk about Shadow just because like the whole Amy thing has been talked about, and that's a whole nother video, but I'm just gonna say it here. My personal opinion on this, and I'm gonna explain why I feel this way. He writes Shadow very Vegeta, and I'm not sure why, but there's been a lot of talk lately about comparing Sonic to Dragon Ball Z, and people straight up saying that Sonic was heavily inspired by Dragon Ball Z, which I don't think it is. Honestly, the only thing in there is probably Super Sonic being like Super Saiyan. Even the Chaos Emeralds, like, I know there are 7 of them, but I think 7 is just an attractive number to draw because there's always 1 in the middle and 6 around, like 3 on top, 3 on the bottom. It's just like it's a very like appealing looking group of things, of objects, and also there has not always been 7 Chaos Emeralds. That's more of like a modern Sonic thing, believe it or not. Sometimes there's 6, sometimes there's like 10. I think there was 8 of them before. Like, the number wasn't consistent until modern Sonic. So it's not, I don't know, people it's just something I noticed in the last couple of years, that there are people who are very like determined to prove that Sonic is Goku and Shadow is Vegeta, and even that Knuckles is Piccolo for some reason, and all that. The arguments are always very baseless because the characters aren't based on those characters at all. Sonic's personality is based on Bill Clinton, the president, and his fashion sense was based on Michael Jackson. But Shadow is not based on Vegeta at all. He's based on Spawn. He also, like, something that irritates me too is that he doesn't care. This line specifically is very Vegeta in the sense that the thing with Vegeta and Goku is Vegeta is very proud of being the prince of the Saiyans, and he feels that because of that, he should be the strongest. So it irritates him, and he feels this incessant need to outdo Goku because Goku is like some random ass guy. And I know that might sound like Sonic and Shadow on a very surface level, but it's not at all, because in reality I don't think Shadow gives 2 shits if he surpasses Sonic or whatever, because he knows that he's the ultimate life form and he knows his worth. Even if Sonic matches him, he's not like, that's not his goal in life, and he doesn't really care about the rivalry. His thing is that he knows that Sonic will be a challenge to him, because as much as they don't want to admit it, they are equals to each other. A lot of people, I don't know if it's in this video, the video's almost over so it might not be, but the Japanese translation of this fits their characters a lot better. And I don't speak Japanese, I just know a little bit about the language because I studied it before, and I know stuff about Japanese culture, so I have like a little bit of nuanced understanding. So Sonic says something like, "Oh, Shadow, you're here too, huh? Are you enjoying the race?" And Shadow's like, "Huh, this game's stupid and pointless, but if you're here, it might be interesting." And that's him acknowledging that Sonic is his pretty much only challenge. Now, my opinion, and I can't speak for everyone, but I think the reason a lot of people have started to differentiate between Japanese Sonic and English Sonic is because it really started back in the 90s, because SEGA of America had a different idea of what Sonic should be than SEGA of Japan. But thanks to Shiro Maekawa, who started writing for Sonic games with Sonic Adventure 2, and he wrote not all games, but most of them, I think, up until Sonic and the Black Knight, and that was his last story before he left. He was able to completely marry together and build like this very good characterization of Sonic, where he was both a very homogenous and like well-written mixture of both aspects of Sonic's personality. And it wasn't even as divided back then as it is now. He was always praised for his characterization and stories. Shadow was a no-brainer because Iizuka came up with the concept for Shadow. So he is the what Shadow is aspect. But Maekawa wrote Shadow. He's the who Shadow is. So he understands him. That's his baby. That's his character. So when he writes him the way that he should be written. Because, you know, he made him who he is. The reason I think a lot of people hold on, and the reason that I kind of personally do, is back then you didn't really have English writers. They basically just translated the Japanese story into English, and there were some, you know, translation issues that changed some of the context of things, and I'm not really gonna get into that here, but it was basically the same story. When Maekawa left, they decided to hire Ponic and Graf to write stories. I don't know how much power they had over the stories either. I think Sonic Team has Ian on a shorter leash than they did Ponic and Graf. I'm not entirely sure, but I feel like they do because he complains about the mandates a lot. I think the nostalgia comes from, and the missing who the characters used to be, comes from the fact that we all kind of, if you were around back then, we all kind of grew up on Japanese Sonic, because Japanese Sonic was just translated into English. Nowadays, going through the meta era where a lot of the side characters and like the main cast was dwindled down really to just Sonic and Tails and Eggman. A lot of the side characters got sidelined and flanderized in very basic, shallow depictions of their characters. There's a whole generation that never really knew that aspect of them. They knew like the meta era aspect, and the characters weren't that deep anymore. So we come to current times where there's a new writer again, but Ian has different ideas of what the characters should be, because I heard Ian is more of a Archie Sonic fan, so his ideas for what the characters should be are again different, because Archie was not as controlled as IDW. Now you have the situation where I think the Japanese Sonic team still writes the stories, but now the English writers are tasked with writing the English script, which changes the characters more. So now in a lot of the games you do have that distinct description of what is happening in the game, or the dialogue between characters, and their personalities are different. A good example, I just very recently found out that Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric, the story in Japanese is very different. Like Shadow is a good example. He was an asshole in that game because he's supposed to have been possessed by Lyric, but in the English version he literally just like is a dick, and he's like, you're friends and you shouldn't have them because it makes you weak, like that type of thing. So I think one of the reasons that Ian complains about the mandates is because he writes Shadow as very Vegeta, like I said, and he's not. I think he just wants Shadow to be something he's not. So he has issues because he sets up these scenarios and he's already acting a certain way that he probably shouldn't. I don't really know the details of how it works, but the short version is the reason that I think a lot of people complain about the characterization for Shadow and Amy specifically is because we did kind of grow up on the Japanese interpretation, which is the original interpretation. And interestingly enough, that still exists in the Japanese media. So it gives this air of kind of missing out some. So yeah, I'm gonna stop rambling on about this and keep going. That's just my opinion on this line and the just like the weird they over seriousness of the rivalry they have. I like this one. See, Sonic matches energies. I like how he's glazing Shadow, even though he wouldn't say that shit to his face. Knuckles. I really like Knuckles' writing though. I love that he's back to normal. Because he was an idiot for way too long and Knuckles was not supposed to be dumb. He's just supposed to be very salt of the earth. Yeah. Honestly, Sonic, Tails might have you beat because he's operating a machine. Heck yeah. Their dynamic's always the same. Jesus. I think Sonic's kind of a dick in this game too. Oh wait. I have a lot of thoughts about this. My fan fiction's ruined. Just kidding. I have my current Sonic fan character is supposed to be Maria's niece. So it seems like they're going back to the Shadow 05 continuation for Shadow where he lets go of all, he like throws his whole ass past away. This is really interesting to me because Sage is talking about family, right? And Shadow's like, I left all that behind. So my question is, what was the point of expanding the Robotnik lore if that was the case? He could just be saying that because Shadow's the type of guy that'll straight up lie about his feelings. Like how he said that he wasn't saving Rouge, he was saving the Chaos Emeralds, even though he could have just taken the emeralds and left her in there. But yeah, like, it's implied that Gerald had 2 kids, right? Because Maria and Eggman are cousins. But giving her a sister when Shadow is the only person who would even have stakes in that information, and then having him be like, I don't actually give a fuck about these people. It's very strange. Because, like, if he doesn't want anything to do with them, then what was the purpose of, like, even saying all that? Also, I don't think Professor Tori is her sister because her sister would have to be in her 50s, right? And that girl, she doesn't look like she's in her 50s. Even if she is a Robotnik, I can't fathom that she's in her, she can't be even in her 30s. I'd say late 20s, mid to late 20s. But anyway, yeah, like, unless they're setting it up for Sage to have somewhere to go if she does ditch Eggman, like Shadow seems to be suggesting. If they're continuing his story like that, then I'm really interested in where it's gonna go, or even if anything was gonna be said about the other members of the Robotnik family. I would understand this line better if it was just Eggman, but you know, the introduction of somebody else, or just the suggestion that somebody else could be out there is very weird if you're gonna have it so that he is not really interested in that aspect of his history anymore. Okay, so I am gonna do a couple from this Twitter account. I'm not gonna do a lot because I don't want to spoil the whole game for myself, but I'll do maybe like, I don't know, 5 of them. I'll just look through and find some that are interesting, that are like interesting story wise, or like interesting interactions, I mean. So me in a fedora, credit to that kid, So we're gonna listen to some of these ones.
You're supposed to be the brawn? You don't look so tough to me. Oh, I'm plenty tough. I'll break you into so many pieces, they'll call you Shatter the Hedgehog.
A play on words. Yeah, I like that. If he's written like that all the time, that's nice. The way they write Omega is so funny to me. Sometimes he's very robot, and then sometimes he's just like that.
Hey Storm, did you know you've got gullible written on the bottom of your shirt?
Jesus.
I'm not falling for that again. And just 'cause
What do you mean again, dog? Oh wait, that's what this person said too. I think he's always been the idiot character, hasn't he?
Why are you staring at me so intensely? Blink already. You're freaking me out.
So sorry. I wasn't staring. I was just admiring. I mean, you know what?
I didn't know he had a crush on her. I literally only played the first Sonic Riders, so maybe there's history with them too, I don't know. Alright, so this is the last one, because this video, I don't want it to be too long. Aiming Shadow again.
You're too kind-hearted. Victory on the track can only be won with ruthless determination.
I've got determination for days, and I don't need to be a jerk now.
Damn. She does kind of have bite, but it's funny that he's like, you're nice, so you're not gonna win. What does that mean? Alright, so that's it for me. I'm really excited for this game. I don't really care about kart racers, so it's interesting that I'm actually excited for this. I did kind of want Team Sonic Racing a while back, but I heard the game wasn't good. Hopefully this is good. I've heard a lot of good things. And I think there is a story mode and all that stuff. So I don't want to spoil myself. Oh, that animation's coming out too. I can't wait to watch that. I almost forgot about it. It's on the 29th. It's gonna be the animation like they did for the other one too, but it's done by the same company or animation team that did Shadow Dark Beginnings. And I'm excited for that. Anyway, some updates. My next video is coming out on the 12th, I think. And then after that, I'm trying to buy some time for myself to play Donkey Kong Bonanza because I've had that shit for like a month and I never got to play it because some stuff, it just wasn't quiet enough. But you know, my cousins were staying here while they were on summer vacation and now they're in school, so I actually have a quiet space to play the game. I might do a video on that, and then after that it's Spooky Month, which I wanted to do a video every week, but I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do that. And then after that it's Zelda Month, so time's flying, dude. It's almost the end of the year. Anyway, if you guys had anything to say about this video or these character things, or if you want to talk about character interactions and characterizations, blah blah blah, character, I said that so many times, I will see you in the comments or whatever. This is my first reaction video, so hopefully it's not ass, but it probably is. It's jank, it's scuffed, as they say. Alright, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.